thinking of others, and I appreciate that. Are you excited for Christmas, buddy?
Okay, welcome to the December meeting of the Kenton School Board. Roll call member, please.
Mr. Albert?
Here.
Mr. Carveen?
Yes.
Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Ms. Stryker?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, item 3, approval and correction of the minutes of the regular meeting held on November 19th. Do I have a motion?
Stryker.
We'll take Stryker. We'll take Albert. Any discussion? And vote.
Mr. Carveen?
Yes.
Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Ms. Stryker?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Albert?
Yes.
Okay, item 4. We have faculty report, student showcase. So Ohio High Point Nursing, Deb Purcell, we're going to turn it over to you. It's your show. Yeah, that'd be good. We got a camera, we can go over there.
As Mr. Rush said, my name is Debbie Purcell, and I'm the Allied Health and Nursing Instructor for Ohio High Point Kenton. And thank you to Mr. Thrush for asking me to give the board an update on what's happening with our program. I spoke to you, I believe, 3 years ago and explained the beginning of the program. So it's nice for me to have an opportunity to give you an update on where we are now. I've asked 3 students to come and speak to you. They are graduates of Kenton High School and graduates of my program: Mercedes Mendenhall, Jenna Rodenberger, and Ty Carmine. Let me talk to you first, speak to you about an update on the courses. 3 of the courses that we offer are the same. The level 1 course is Health Science Technology. Level 2 is Medical Terminology. And over the last 3 years, we've had 44 students become eligible for college credit. As they graduate from, they take this class as a sophomore, but when they graduate from high school and if they go to college, then I process the paperwork that gives them college credit for the medical terminology class. The level 3 course I changed my second year here. The students told me that the 2 courses that we were offering was too repetitive. As I taught the second course, the second level, they said, "Ms. Purcell, we've already learned that. We've already learned that. We've already learned that." And I said, "You're right, we have." So I decided to eliminate 1 course and add a course that I thought would be more beneficial to them. So now their 3rd level course is a course called Human Pathophysiology, which is really diseases of the human body. And anyone that's going into the healthcare field needs to be knowledgeable regarding the diseases that's going to attack us. So these students have a really good start by taking that course. The level 4 course remains the same. That's patient-centered care. Over the 2 years that we've offered that, within that course is the STNA certification, phlebotomy certification, EKG instruction, and internships. So over the last 2 years, our students at the Kenton location have been well above the state average of success on that industry standard exam. I didn't teach that first course, the level 4 course, the first year, if you remember, because we needed some prerequisites to be in place before the students took the level 4 course. We have internship opportunities with 8 employers here in town, and last year we had a student that drove to Marion to complete her internship because we only had 2 spots at Hardin Memorial, and both of those spots were filled. And this third student was very interested in this internship opportunity. So we approached Marion General Hospital, and with parental consent, and we adjusted the schedule. This student drove to Marion and completed her phlebotomy internship. I am proposing a new course next year. I've spoke with Mr. Thrush about it. I haven't had a chance to talk to guidance about it yet. I'd like to add a 5th course to the Allied Health and Nursing program, and it's called Wellness and Nutrition. I have found that there are some boys, not like Ty, who I convinced was a very smart choice for him to take my level 4 course, but some of the boys I can't convince that this is a good course for them. And so I'd like to offer something that's a little more interesting to them. Here in Kenton, we have a lot of kids that are interested in physical therapy and physical therapy assisting. So we are offering this wellness and nutrition course, and hopefully that'll keep some of the boys in the pathway and keep some of the boys, get them to that completer component of the courses, of the pathway. So that's where we are. I need to get with guidance. I haven't been at school much the last week because I've been completing clinicals for the seniors, but I will get with guidance and we'll get that put together. We have got the HOSA organization established, Health Occupation Students of America. We have 36 members this year. We participated in community service projects such as Christmas boxes with the Blue Star Mothers. We participated in the Lions Christmas parade. We were cold, but we did it anyway. It was very cold that night. I think tradition is important, and so all of the students wanted to ride on the float, but I told them only the level 4 kids got to ride on the float and everybody else had to walk, and I walked as well. So the juniors were all saying, oh, I can't wait till next year and I can ride on the float, so I understood that. I don't know if you guys realize it, but our Allied Health and Nursing and Career Tech Ed, we take end of course exams as well, just like the academic classes take end of course exams. The Ohio High Point Career Center has established a goal that our students, 80% of our students will pass our end of course exams. Before last year, Allied Health and Nursing in Kenton was well above that for success on their end of course exams. But when I introduced that new course, students struggled a little bit with that. Anytime you introduce a new course, it's the first year for the teacher to teach it and the first year for the students to take the course. So our pass rate last year was 79%, and I'm fairly certain we'll reach that 80% this year. I'm very hopeful for that. Let's see. We also gather data at the end of the year, and that data helps us to know whether our students are being successful or not. And just for your information, the students for the 2016-17 year, 100% of those students were either working in healthcare or in college in a health career pathway. For the 17-18 grads, I have not done that follow-up data yet, but informally I just looked at the kids that I knew here in town, and about 70% of them are either working in the field or in college. So I'm going to ask the students to come and speak to you, and then I will just give a little conclusion when they're finished. So Mercedes Mendenhall is first. Good evening.
I'm Mercedes Mendenhall. I was a 2018 graduate of her class and of Kenton High School. I took 5 of the courses over 3 years. I had to double up for 2 years. My first year, I took the medical terminology. I took it all out of whack because it really wasn't established of the certain way that you wanted to take it quite yet. So I took medical terminology because I didn't know whether I wanted to be in the field or not. So I just kind of dipped my toes in the water. And I ended up loving that course, the weird little pictures that help teach you. It sticks in your brain. And then my second year, I took health science technology, which is the level 1. And then I took the allied health and nursing with it. And I found a lot of overlapping, but it helped because, you know, I had it fresh in my brain. And then my senior year, I took the human pathophysiology, and I took the patient-centered care. And in the patient-centered care, I got my STNA, and in that 4th 9 weeks, I do believe, there was that internship, and that landed me my first job in the healthcare field at Blanchard Place here in town. It's an assisted living. I started as a concierge and worked my way up to the RCP, which is the STNA's position. And I've worked there since February, and I also work at Kenton Nursing and Rehab out there by the cemetery. I've been there since about mid-July, and I love it. I didn't know in the very beginning whether I wanted to be an STNA or not, so I just kind of took it and went with it and ended up absolutely loving it. So her courses have helped me a lot with getting my 2 jobs, and it just has overall helped me get a base for college whenever I start, hopefully next year. So I really appreciate bringing it here and making it available for kids to take it, because I know it's scary to go to a new school, you know, down in Bellefontaine, and it kind of keeps them close to home. So, and that was me for sure. So I really appreciated it coming here, and it helped set me up for success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jenna Rodenberger. I'm a 2017 graduate of Kenton High School, and I also took Ms. Purcell's classes. I started my junior year with the medical terminology, and like she said, the pictures really do stick in your brain. I still use them to this day as I work and I'm in school. I currently am in nursing school at Rhodes State College. I just finished my first semester. And last year I went to school at OSU Marion as I was trying to work toward a biology major to eventually go to PA school, but this summer I changed my mind. As I figured that out, it was because I did work in a hospital and I did work 2 different jobs. I do have my STNA, which I earned through the patient-centered care course, and I also had a phlebotomy job at Marion General, and I currently work at Hardin Memorial Hospital as a phlebotomist. I wasn't sure if I wanted to be a nurse or not, so as I worked more and more into the field of healthcare, I learned that this is what I want to do, and taking those courses in high school really helped me figure out that is what I want to do. I am forever grateful that I have those courses, and I have the STNA certification that I still have and I still maintain, and I currently work at Mary Rutan also as a phlebotomist. So it's helping me get through school, and it helped me figure out that I do want to be in healthcare and I do want to be a nurse. It helped push me to where I want to be. So I'm thankful for everything. That's all.
Mercedes kind of mentioned why she preferred the class at Northwood versus going to High Point. How would you view that decision?
Definitely. I did not ever think about going to High Point because it is far away. You lose that high school experience. But if you're here, you still get to go to high school with all the people you grew up with, and you get to play sports, and you're still entertained with the people in the community, along with you just have to walk across the street to High Point or Northwood, and you still get to stay in that high school feeling. So I really enjoyed that.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, John.
Hi, my name is Ty Carmine. I'm currently a student at Ohio State University in Columbus. I am a Kenton High School graduate of 2017. I'm just going to kind of tell you about my experience with Ms. Purcell's program. Junior year of high school, I took the level 2 course of medical terminology, basically just learning the medical language. And I actually work right now. Mrs. Purcell definitely helped me get a job after high school. She was always looking into different jobs for me, definitely caring about her students for sure. Definitely trying to get a job at a high school and as a phlebotomist because I got a cert because I'm phlebotomy certified through Mrs. Purcell's course. Really trying that. Not a lot of hospitals had openings, but Ms. Purcell definitely kept on looking around, and she actually found a job at Kroger in the pharmacy here in town, and started working there because I wanted a job for sure. So I was going to, freshman year, I was going to college at the branch at Lima. So I knew I wanted a job, started working there, and I really fell in love with it. Winter break freshman year, I got a job at Mary Rutan Hospital as a phlebotomist, though. So in the mornings, I would go over to Mary Rutan and still continue to kind of train to be a phlebotomist. And then in the afternoons, I would go to Kroger and be a pharmacy technician by night. So after winter break, I definitely had to make a decision about one of those two jobs. So I really thought about it. I would have got paid more at Mary Rutan, but I really fell in love with the Kroger pharmacy. And without Mrs. Purcell, I definitely wouldn't have had either of those opportunities. And I think that's definitely a major reason why I really love this program. But yeah, my senior year of high school, I got CPR certified, STNA certified, phlebotomy certified, and the last semester we learned about EKGs. Was able to learn about heart arrhythmias and all that jazz. So I definitely left high school with a lot of knowledge of the medical field, and I think that has helped me so much with just being ahead in college, because other students don't have opportunities like this. And I think that it's a really good thing for the future of our community. And really, there's no one better than Ms. Purcell. She cared so much about her students. I played football and baseball in high school, and she attended as many as she could. She just cares so much about her students and definitely wants them to succeed. Let me see here. And I think that's all I have.
Could you also speak to the differentiation between going to Bell Fountain versus staying here?
Yeah, I definitely did not want to go to High Point. So I did play sports, and you are able to play sports at High Point, but it's just not necessarily the same. I think everybody kind of realizes that, and definitely didn't have any interference. The program was probably like 95 to 99% within school hours. So definitely was able to fit my schedule. I mean, it was just going to high school.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Great.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks. Ashley Hayes is a student of ours as well, and I asked her to come and speak along with these three kids, and she didn't feel comfortable speaking in front of a group. But I just, like I said, completed my clinicals last week with my current students, and Ashley was one of the aides that was working there that helped my present students learn some of the skills. And so I talked to her a little bit about what she would have said had she come and spoke here. And she just wanted me to share with you that not only has she been working as an STNA since she graduated and has been successful, but her boyfriend too took Mr. Spragan's course at the Northwood building in the manufacturing and the welding, and he is employed as a welder. So the two of them together are independent young adults, which I think is what we want when our kids graduate from high school. So they're self-supporting and contributing to the community, and that's what I want for the community that we are living in, that I'm living in. So in conclusion, I think for the most part, every one of these students here would have been successful even without the career and technical education program that we brought to Kenton. They come from good families, and they would have been successful. And there's many of the kids that I have taught that I could say the same thing about. But healthcare is a competitive program. It's a difficult program in college, and I feel like that there's nothing wrong with us giving our Kenton kids a head start. For those that aren't interested in going down to Ohio High Point in Bellefontaine, I'm very happy that we can bring this program here to Kenton, and we can help them get started on their pathway in the healthcare field. So, in conclusion, thank you for having us. And do any of you have any questions for me? Yes, Mr. Rush.
So thank you for coming tonight and speaking. I think it's really important that we get feedback as the board. Students actually participate, and I went to school with all of your parents, so I know you're good kids, right? So I know who you guys are, and I really appreciate, Deb, your dedication. It sounds like the feedback from the kids are saying she cares, and that's really important too. Student-teacher relationship. On the internship side, how many students are in internships per year, and then how long are those internships? Are they 3 months or 6 months or all year, or?
No, the internships for the allied health and nursing students are the last 9 weeks of school.
Okay.
And it's on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings. And then I still teach them on Monday and Friday. Okay. The EKG unit is taught the last 9 weeks of school. So on Monday and Friday, we cover all the EKG content. On Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, they have the option to go and work instead of coming to my lab, to my classes that morning. So many of them do. Some of them also will work weekends. Because that's the nature of the job, is that, yes, some can work during the week, but in healthcare, we're 24/7.
Yeah.
So some of the kids will work even more hours on the weekends. And we've, almost all students have been placed in an internship.
Okay.
There were a couple times, Mr. Rush, that there were a couple times
She's known me a long time.
Sorry.
Ever since I was a little guy. So
Yeah, real little. There was a couple of times where students didn't have transportation to get any place except to school.
Okay.
So if we don't have transportation, then that makes it difficult for them.
Right.
But otherwise, we've been able to place pretty much everybody.
And there's 8 different businesses that are supporting the program, basically? Okay.
Yep.
That's good. That's good.
Hardin Memorial Hospital has been wonderful to us, I will say that. I don't know how many students we placed in Hardin Memorial at one time, but they rotate through the different departments. So I think we had a couple of kids in X-ray. I had a girl in cardiopulmonary last year, the lab, dietary. So Hardin Memorial has been really good about anywhere the student has shown interest. I just go and ask and say, can we put this student in there for a few weeks? And it's worked out.
Yeah.
I go in, Ohio High Point actually employs someone who does like the internship supervision, but with it being healthcare, I feel like I'm the best person to supervise them. So Mr. Thrush helps me work out a schedule that will give me a period a day that I can go to our employers. Once the students are placed, then I go and I complete an employability form on them, and they get a grade for that.
Now, does the employer give feedback as far as how they're doing, or have you heard where, hey, you need to improve this or that with the students? Or
yes.
There's some feedback to you to know if
I
you're
talk
headed
to the
north?
employer. I don't talk to the student when I make those visits. I'm talking to the employer.
Okay.
The students see me on Monday and Friday.
Yeah.
So if they're having problems, and then they can email me.
Yeah.
If they are experiencing a problem, they let me know. But when I make my visits, I'm talking to the employers to see how well the students are performing.
Yep. Okay. Very good. Very good. Good?
It's quite amazing the numbers you had of your students that continue in the health field. I mean, you would expect some to realize they don't like it, but it sounds like the vast majority of them are staying in the field, and that's quite amazing, I think.
That level 1 course, we accept we have 2 sections of the level 1 course. By the time we get through that course, the kids know whether they want to go on to the second one or not.
Gives them a lot of insight into that.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the great advantages of this whole program, is just that exposure to those fields, to realize what it's really about, and if it does interest them or not. I think it's an important component.
All right. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you guys coming in.
Okay.
Much appreciated.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah.
That's what I teach my students to say.
What's that?
It's my pleasure to care for you.
There you
It's
go.
my pleasure.
There you go. There you go. All right. Thank you. Sure. Yeah.
Ty's buying me dinner.
Hey, there you go. There you go, Ty.
I want to go too.
Okay, item 5, public participation. Oh, I skipped. Ryan and Grace Collins, sorry, I skipped.
It's just Grace.
You're not doing anything?
I can scratch your name.
Yeah, my name's
Another Christmas is here, and it's time to report. As with every school year, we have a lot of items to sort. Supporting staff and students, replacing equipment, and keeping software up to date. Using the help desk helps keep the tech department straight. The kindergarten and first graders, new laptops are on their shelves. These machines are now younger than the students themselves. For the main website, visitors have nothing to fear. SSL has been added, as will all the Kenton websites this year. As for the new field house, a little networking left to complete, and keyless entry and Wi-Fi, once finished, will be sweet. If you are wondering about the help desk, it is alive and well, with 1,944 tickets completed by this Noel. So as we conclude this report on technology, Merry Christmas to you and to all of your family.
Very good. Very good.
I know I'm the old guy around here because she used to read that on a stool.
I was thinking the same thing.
I only have it for 3 more years.
Yeah.
I guess you guys are stuck with me.
Thanks, Claire.
Do we have any public participation? I don't think
I
so.
didn't look, but if any speak now, or I think we're good.
I think we're good. Okay. We'll move on to item 6, reports of the treasurer. Approve the following November 30th reports for cash position, check register, receipt ledger, investment report, journal entries, and budget versus actual. Do I have a motion?
Watkins.
Watkins, second? Carmine, any discussion?
I just wanted to point out that you each have a sheet with all your attendance for the year, and I will need you to sign off on that. There's a signature line so that you can be paid.
Ooh, we want to do that. Okay, great. Okay. Vote.
Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Ms. Stryker?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Albert?
Yes.
Mr. Carmine?
Yes.
All right. Item 7, superintendent's report.
Just a couple of things to make sure that you check out. The Alumni Hall of Fame application was released today. It's available on the website and social media. So if you have a candidate that you would like to nominate for this year's Hall of Fame, we're asking that those nominations be in by February 1st. So check that out. We are in the process of planning the Field House grand opening. So be watching for that come January. Hopefully we'll get that on the schedule and out to the public soon. We also, if you haven't subscribed through social media to our Kenton City Schools Facebook or Twitter or our website, if you don't check it regularly, we are really doing some big promotions this year as far as publicizing the great things that are happening in the Kenton City School District. And Colt's here tonight. He helps a lot with that. And we did a video series as part of our initiative this year, which will be 12 to 15 videos about our buildings and about our people. And so the first video that was released was called Welcome to Kenton High School. And so it's available. If you haven't seen it, I strongly suggest that you watch it. They did an outstanding job, Colt and the crew, so thank you very much.
Good job.
The next one is to be released soon, and that'll be our first faculty member release. There you go, tomorrow morning. So watch for our faculty where we're starting to feature the faces and the people of Kenton City Schools. So I wanted to share that. And then finally, something that I don't think is in a committee report that just came about was we've met with Garmin Miller, we being me, and we've set up a schedule of events to start talking about a pre-bond process. There are a lot of steps in the process, so this is the overview of how the process works, is what we'll work through this spring. And then we'll start working on some master planning over the whole facility project and how that would look, as well as assessing current buildings. So we're probably about 12 months out from any kind of designing or talking about what the building could be. So the education part will be starting here in March. And in February, OFCC will meet and they'll give us a better idea of when they might be able to fund us. So remember, we're in a queue to be funded, but because they have had cutbacks, they've reduced the numbers of schools they fund a year, so they haven't been able to lock in a year for us yet. So we're hoping in February they can tell us, but it just depends on where we fall in the complete package. But that 712 process is starting.
Good.
I think everything else is in committee.
Good. Yep. All right. Thank you, Jennifer. Board committee reports is item 8, finance.
Yes, we met, I believe it was on the 7th, Superintendent, Treasurer, Mark Rush, and I. A few things we discussed. One was the hiring of the Assistant Maintenance Supervisor. Been a position we've been looking for somebody really for quite some time, so hopefully this works out really well. It's on the agenda.
We are excited.
Yeah.
Just so you know, in case you didn't know.
We had some bids for new buses. We're assessing that, I guess we'd say, whether we're going to pursue that or not. But they're $80,400 for a bus. So we haven't really purchased any bus for a number of years. So one of those things, you eventually have to replace them.
We actually had passed a resolution through the purchasing cooperative, so we don't actually have to go out for bid.
Yeah.
So we actually approved buying a bus through that
Okay.
cooperative purchasing.
All right, stand corrected there. Also, we're going to get a couple truck bids for the utility truck bids for the maintenance department. There was a process that you guys worked through with the state. Did that happen already, or
Yes.
it was a workbook had to do with budgeting for really the whole district's budget? I don't know. You have any comment on that, or
I had someone call me and I forwarded what we had worked on, and they don't like that we had put the lump sums for the year, so I'm going to have to spread it out over every month. But yeah, that's the only thing I
Basically,
have
the
to do.
process was that the 5-year forecast went negative, and so we had to look at our spending, and we had to brainstorm ways of how we could reduce spending so that our 5-year forecast was no longer negative. And so that's a process that we work through. And I think we have some solutions.
Yeah. Okay. And then the last thing, we're still looking into whether we put in our own diesel fuel tank for the bus, out the bus garage for bus fuel. Still kind of looking, getting details and numbers. We'll pursue that if it seems to make financial sense. And so we're still kind of seeing what we can come up with as far as the cost. It's all about how much cost it's going to be up front to put that in place. So.
And I actually met with someone who does the design for that, that I was put in touch with. And they came out and they looked at our site, and he's supposed to come up with a proposal.
Okay.
And then he also talked about how Buckeye Oil, who didn't want to be involved with the design part because they want to bid, but they're actually the state contract for our region.
Oh, really? Okay.
So
that you didn't, we didn't know that, I guess.
No, we didn't. He didn't mention that at the time.
Yeah.
So as soon as we get how it could possibly be designed out there, I'll get that with Buckeye Oil, and they should be able to give us the price because they will know that they're tied into hours and like labor rate and that type of thing.
No, that's good to know.
Yeah. And then one of the other things that Doug mentioned, maybe we should look, if we don't do this, what are our other options for fuel here in Kenton?
Yeah, we could look at...
and so I got something from Fuel Mart.
Yeah, and Jumpin' Jim's could also do the same thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it might be worth taking some competitive bids on that if that's where we're going to keep doing. Yeah, good point.
So, we're looking at stuff.
Yeah. Looking at options. Okay, very good. Mark, is that it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, facilities?
We did not meet, Mark.
Did not
I think
meet?
we have to reschedule those meetings to evening because every day that's scheduled, we have a delay. And so it's no joke. So I think those
There is a
meetings
solution to that, Jennifer.
I know,
There's a certain
that.
person
Schedule
in this
it the
room that's in
evening.
charge of delays.
But the truth is, we've been in a holding pattern because all of our projects are on schedule, and we've been waiting for the field house. And so the field house is just finishing up, and that'll be a great way for the facility community to meet and follow up on all those results when it's ready.
Did you get the occupancy permit for that? Does that come through?
I don't
or-
have, that would go to Tracy, but I haven't seen anything come through.
You haven't seen it yet? Okay. I need to ask for
Extracurricular did not meet, I believe. And we're on to Career Center.
Okay. They had their annual Christmas dinner for the Board of Ed. It was prepared by the culinary students. And Mr. Blue said it was excellent as always. They will be having a reorganization meeting for 2019 on January 9th at 9 a.m., followed by the regular board meeting. They're also going to be having 2 work sessions pertaining to guiding principles on building design, and that'll be on January 30th and then February 16th. And then they'll be finalizing the MOU with Logan County Sheriff for a resource officer. And then they'll be having the annual district showcase, will be April 24th from 6 to 7:30 on main campus. And this is for all districts, and more information will be about that later. And that's all Mr. Blue had.
Okay, thank you very much. Policy?
That's me, Mark. And on December 7th, we did not have a delay, so we were able to meet. We actually had 4 things on that we kind of discussed. The first one, since the new field house is coming kind of online here, we just want to make sure that we're reviewing the request form for the facility, maybe some rental stuff. So we're in the process of that. That'll be coming probably the first couple months of 2019.
Yep.
That'll come out. Also, we talked about the safety grant. I know, Jennifer, we mentioned that I think a little bit before, that we've got that. So we've kind of decided that we're going to move forward with the faster training with that. And then the third item was we reviewed the smoking policy, the survey that we did out there. Look for more information on that coming probably the first quarter of 2019 as well, when we kind of get into the meat and potatoes of that one. And then the last one is we wanted to make sure we reviewed the policy for the student homecoming door decoration competition, and we did find that the contest followed all the guidelines set forth.
Yep.
So,
all right. Good
that was
enough. Thank you, Doug. Item 9, any old business? I don't think so. On to new business. Personnel items. We have 10A through 10F. Do I have a motion?
Albert.
Second? Carmine?
Yep.
All right. Any discussion? Tyler Sparks is on there.
The only thing I just might mention, just in case you do get questions, we also have a second shift floating custodian position open. So this is a maintenance and facilities position. So if you know Doug and Jerry, this would be like a night shift Jerry. Does that make sense? So some people are getting the two positions confused. And so just know that this is a second shift maintenance and facilities person so that we can cover when stuff goes down at night or if things need work, and helping support our second shift crews.
Right.
And he's going to be wonderful. He was here today, actually, so
Good.
I'm very happy.
Great. Okay, and vote?
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Albert?
Yes.
Mr. Carmine?
yes.
Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Ms. Stryker?
Yes.
Okay, authorizations and resolutions, 11A through F. Do I have a motion?
Stryker.
Stryker, a second?
Albert.
Albert? Any discussion?
Yes, we have to name somebody in that.
Approves appointment of President Pro Tem. President Pro Tem. Mr. Watkins?
I hear that train a-coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins, for that resounding.
Yeah.
All right. All right. That's good. Any other discussion? And vote.
Mr. Albert?
Yes.
Mr. Carmine?
Yes.
Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Ms. Stryker?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Okay, approve motion to go in executive session for the evaluation of the superintendent and treasurer.
Watkins.
Watkins, second.
Albert.
Albert. And
7:42.
discuss and vote.
Mr. Carmine?
Yes.
Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Ms. Stryker?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Albert?
Yes.
7:42 is our time in. Yeah, there'll be a reorganizational meeting, and next regular board meeting will be held January 7th, 2019, and there will be no further business. Thank you.